What's up, Vince Hog Nation? Today we're gonna go in and talk to you about several things we've learned since yesterday's preseason opener against the Chicago Bears. I'm gonna read to you an article from the Sun Sentinel, and then we're gonna listen to some pressers from Mike McDaniel, Jonas Mayania, Malik Washington, and Tua Tagovailoa. And then I want you to leave me your thoughts down below. What did you think of yesterday's preseason opener? I'm not giving you a breakdown and not giving you a preview until the regular season like I posted on the community post. But I wanted to see what they said about the performance yesterday and give you some thoughts on an article from the Sun Sentinel stating what they saw, and then give you my thoughts based on that article. So let's get the show on the road, and then we'll go from there. Things we learned in the Miami Dolphins preseason opener at the Chicago Bears. The Miami Dolphins had their preseason opener in Chicago on Sunday, and it ended in a 24-24 tie. The biggest test for the Dolphins was how the backups would fare, especially on the offensive line and at cornerback. The results were mixed. Another big test was whether the backup edge rushers who have been dominant in training camp could continue playing at a high level. They were good. Here's what we learned Sunday. Game makes a play, which is no surprise. Inside linebacker Willie Gay Jr. had a half a sack on the opening series along with defensive tackle Benito Jones, living up to his training camp hype and boosting the bright outlook for the defensive front seven. Gay 3 tackles in his first year with the Dolphins has been one of the best playmakers in the run game and pass game of the defense. He lived up to the hype early. On the topic of inside linebacker, KJ Britt had a team best 6 tackles in the first half. Britt and Gay are backups behind starters Jordan Brooks and Terrell Dotson. Inside linebacker, which saw Channing Tindall record 6 tackles, continues to show it might be the best and deepest unit on the team. Run blocking did good work early. The Dolphins had 9 runs for 32 yards on their opening possession, and many of those runs were up the middle behind the trio of Aaron Brewer, right guard James Daniels, and left guard Jonas Mayania. Right tackle Larry Broom and left tackle Patrick Paul completed the starting offensive line. The running game was missing 2 key elements in right tackle Austin Jackson, lower extremity injury, and fullback Alec Ingold, concussion protocol. Yet the running game ran out of gas near the goal line, failing to convert on a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1 near the goal line in the first quarter. But the attempt at physicality during the 15-play, 54-yard drive is worth noting. The Dolphins ran the ball on all 4 snaps from the 8-yard line or closer. A different offensive line. Keon Smith was right guard replacing Daniels, and Daniel Brunskill was at center replacing Brewer. Help running back Alexander Madison get a 1-yard rushing touchdown on the Dolphins' second possession. The Dolphins ended with 101 yards rushing on 26 carries, which is a 3.9 yard per carry average. Rookie running back Ollie Gordon II led the way with 33 yards on 8 carries. Starting quarterback Tua Tagovailoa played the opening drive, a 15-play, 54-yard effort, going 5 of 6 for 27 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and an 85.4 passer rating. Most importantly, Tagovailoa didn't make any unwise plays such as holding onto the ball too long or running for a first down. 2 things that have led to injuries in previous seasons. Tagovailoa has had a strong training camp so far. Wilson led 2 touchdown drives in mixed showings. Backup quarterback Wilson was 5 of 9, 46 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 92.8 passer rating, had a so-so appearance in the first half. He led a pair of touchdown drives, the key play on the second drive being a well-thrown ball, 3rd and 5-yard pass to wide receiver Eric Azagama, and that started at the Chicago 19-yard line. But Wilson might have held the ball too long once or twice. He threw a short on what would have been a certain touchdown pass to tight end Tanner Conyer, and was lucky to escape a pick six late in the second quarter. Overall, Wilson made some good plays and moved the offense, but there are a couple of plays he'd probably like to have back. Wilson was sacked 4 times. Ewers struggles in debut. Third team quarterback Quinn Ewers, 5 of 18 for 91 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. A passer rating of 48.1. Didn't have a good start to his day, and things didn't improve much. Ewers, the rookie 7th-round pick from Texas, began 0-4 with a sack and a lost fumble deep in Chicago territory. Ewers had a nice 18-yard strike to A.J. Henning in the fourth quarter. He also had a sweet 19-yard gain on 4th and 5, and the Dolphins' final possession in the final 2 minutes as they tried to get a game-winning score. Ewers wasn't able to connect with wide receiver Theo Wees Jr., his top training camp target, on Sunday twice, missing him, once throwing high and another time throwing too far in front, both times against tight coverage. Ewers lost 2 fumbles, the last in the final minute. Estridge is a strong in-return game. Azugama 2. Wide receiver D. Estridge among the leaders to make the roster from the scrimmage behind starter Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle didn't play Sunday. Had a 41-yard kickoff return and a 19-yard punt return in the first half, both of which should go a long way toward solidifying his role on the 53-man roster. Wide receiver Eric Azagama, who has been quiet in camp, had a 36-yard kickoff return late in the third quarter. Grant shows hustle and awareness. Defensive tackle Kenneth Grant, the first-round pick, had a nice 3-play back-to-back showing late in the second quarter with a hustling downfield tackle, batted down pass, and a run stop after a 3-yard gain. Grant, who had 4 tackles in the first half, has been hard to move in the running game in camp. Edge rushers McClendon and Murphy come alive. McClendon, who flashed in camp, along with fellow backup rusher Grayson Murphy, Quinn Bell, and Mo Kamara, had a sack, tackle for a loss, quarterback pressure. McClendon, who was good overall, was also called for unnecessary roughness. Murphy, who was close to a sack earlier in the game, had a sack in the third quarter. The edge rushers, led by Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and Chop Robinson, are a strong group. Backup offensive line show leakage and experiences some success. The backup offensive line, which hadn't had a good training camp, didn't have a good day. It did okay in spots. Some of the goal line blocking was good, but overall it was leaky in pass protection and struggled to maintain blocks. Among the backup offensive linemen, Smith played right guard and left tackle, getting shoved aside at the latter position for the strip sack of Ewers. Addison West played center. Brian Hayes played left tackle, and as did German Ifidi. Josh Freeby played left guard. Jalen McKenzie played right tackle. Braden Daniels played right guard, and Jackson Carmen played right guard. Backup defense makes plays, shows some slippage. The Dolphins' backup corners, Ethan Bonner and Ethan Robinson, Mike Hilton, B.J. Adams, Isaiah Johnson, had nondescript day. They didn't get crushed, but they didn't make many plays. The highlight was Bonner tipping a pass to McMorris that McMorris intercepted. Johnson had a nice fourth down pass breakup late in the game. Adams had a nice third down pass breakup in the final minute. All right, guys, now we're going to listen to Mike McDaniel and his presser after the game yesterday.
How is Alexander Madison doing?
He's doing well. He had some neck and shoulder soreness But we'll find out. We'll find out more in the next couple days.
Why was the decision to play starters in this game, and have you already decided if this will be the only one in the preseason?
No, I thought it fit. I don't undervalue the process of getting ready for a game. I thought, I think our team could benefit. I told the guys that regardless of the circumstance, it was going to be one series because I wanted guys to go through the process, just knowing that what they've put in up until this point, those extra game reps, I think, are super valuable. I haven't planned out exactly. I like to see where our numbers are at and how things go in practices, but I don't think that will be the last that we'll see of them, whether that's this week or the following week, or maybe a little of both. It'll probably be one game, but I'm keeping my mind open for all things.
To piggyback off of that, the two guys who did practice on Friday who were not out there were Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle. Can you shed some light as to?
Yeah, it was one of the starters to play. However, I didn't want starters to play through a minor anything. So it was more, whether it was regular season, if they could have gone, we didn't even go into that conversation. But it was one of those that it was just didn't make any sense to risk further setbacks, and I think their bodies will appreciate that little time off.
With Waddle, was it residual from that hit he took?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on how the Bears practiced in that setting when I think the rules were kind of laid out?
Ooh. No, I'm worried about one team. That's Miami Dolphins. I think they presented some good challenges, and so there's a lot to be learned from in joint practices, and you have your standards of play and how you want to do things, and whatever the opponent does can either be noise or irrelevant. It can be noise in your head, and so they're always competitive. I think that's very good for football teams in general, because you have to do things between the whistle and not after them. So those competitive moments are great, and it was certainly competitive against the Bears, and I'm expecting it to be competitive against Detroit.
Could you assess the opening drive you got from Tua, and then also the goal line sequence at the end of it?
Yeah, no, I think there was some really good things to work off of and coach off of. I saw, Vaughn was running the ball very well. I liked the way Tua was playing, and then there was an opportunity to get live short yardage goal line work, and it's probably in the situation, the way that I was calling the game, it definitely wasn't. I really wanted the reps. I wanted the reps of pad level. I wanted it on tape, and we need those situations. You hope to have those situations. It was nice to have the situation with the ones, and the idea is that you get better from practice and preseason. So in those situations in the regular season, you score. But it was not good enough at the end. Very good all the way up until I think it was a 16-play drive, if I remember correctly. So there was a lot of execution, and I think we started behind the 8 ball with an illegal formation. Our tackle wasn't. Larry wasn't on the line of scrimmage, so to overcome that and all those things that are normal in games, I was pleased with that, and that was the point.
Zach wound up taking 4 sacks, and it seemed like a couple of those that he was holding onto the ball. What did you see?
No, so there are a couple plays in my mind that I'm curious to watch the tape live or to see in rhythm where his eyes were and if there was a completion to be had. There's some plays that he was playing with anticipation, and there was some plays that I couldn't tell totally exactly what he saw. So that will be good. I thought overall it was a solid start to work from. You can't replicate these reps. It doesn't matter what you say in a stadium playing quarterback for the first time in the system. I kind of put him in some challenging situations intentionally, and he got some good work. One of those was that third and 10 or 9 or something when he threw it to Taj. That was a difficult situation. He kind of had to move off the spot and make a play, and he did. So there was ebbs and flows, stuff that we really wanted to get on tape so that we can coach, and we have 2 joint practices this week and a game. So we have a lot of football to get better from, and regardless of what was going to happen today, I think the team knew that this is a start off point to really work off of to create the type of ball we want.
Mike, do you feel, on that note, that your team took a big step and you're happy with where you guys were at leaving Chicago and Detroit?
Yes, I think I think the team is, I think unilaterally focused on improving, and I think they, I felt the different sidelines today, which was I kind of anticipated, but you don't know if you don't know. In a good way, that the energy and connectivity of the team is strong. That was part of the reason we made the whole trip in general, and I think guys were doing a better job in the game than in practice, really committing to their technique and fundamentals. So overall, my expectation was not to have a finished product. I don't think if your expectation is you have too low expectations. So they're hungry to work, and I think our standards are clear as a team and as a whole. So I'm excited, and yes, I'm happy. That doesn't mean I'm content with anything really. The idea was not to have a final product right now, because we want our final product to for the regular season to be a lot better than that. So it's good. I like where they're at. I like they all know we have work to do in a good way, and that's what you want from your team.
Mike, we saw a few players who were wearing normal clothes, who were not playing wearing normal clothes in the first half, and coming out of halftime, they were wearing their jersey to Tyreek, Ronald, Waller, Cam Smith. Is there anything behind that?
No, it's just once you go in for halftime and the starters take their pads off. When they came out, I was like, I really like the white jerseys, so I wanted to see more of the white jerseys. So I was like, hey, why don't we all put our jerseys on?
How's Elijah Campbell doing? Did he at least avoid the worst?
I think I would say that as of right now, we aren't worried that it's serious, but we need more information to know exactly what that is. But right now, we're not concerned for anything severe.
If I can go back to Friday one time, what was your take on the Jordan Brooks, Tyrell Dodson dust up?
My take was that I was calling plays on the other field, and when we came and told me, I figured I would hear from them pretty quickly, and overall, yeah, I'm not pumped about the front part of it, but I also knew that the people that were engaged in it were, they came up to me and explained kind of what happened, and the biggest thing is they took the time to apologize to the team, and things happen in life and in football, but when you have people that on their own accord want to talk to the team and explain what happened, and it brings your team closer because I think they understand that there's something bigger at play than just their names when you're fighting in a joint practice, and I think they're like brothers. It was very much like a brotherly fight. They knew it wasn't to our standard and what we're about, and so they were accountable with their teammates and I think to the team. So overall, I think it was something that family business that families go through, and I think we're stronger because of it. But that's only because of the type of men that and the accountability that T-Dot and JB really showed.
To be clear on Madison, he's not currently in concussion protocol?
He's not currently in concussion protocol.
And Jonas Savali, he left practice early, was available for this game. What was the process and whatever you dealt with then to be available today?
He wasn't gonna. He knows he needs game reps, and it was nothing of a severe concern. But there was nothing that was going to keep Jonah off the field because he's a rookie pro, really, about how he handles his business, and so it was very important to him, and he did everything he had to be available for this game.
Was it the plan all along that he would play the entire first half while the other offensive?
Yeah, it was, and he really wanted to too, because you can't replicate those game reps. You really can't, and he was excited to do that. It was that was pre-planned. We knew we were going to keep him in a little bit longer because it's the biggest adjustment for him. Cool.
All right, guys. Next, we're going to hear from Jonah.
What I feel like to know, you guys are going to be blocking for Tua, where a lot of preseason games the starter isn't going to be playing.
Yeah, it means a lot, especially for, I'm taking advantage of today's preseason game, just working on my techniques, what I need to learn from and what I need to get better at. So today was one of those games where, go back into the film room and, watch a lot of the details I need to fix on, and ready to come next practice, and we'll fix those.
Did you allow yourself a moment, either in pregame or before the game, or as the game started, to soak it all in?
Sorry, say that again?
So did you allow yourself a moment to soak it all in, like before the game or in pregame warm-ups, or when the game started?
Yes, I think during when they sang the national anthem, that's when I kind of had my, closing my eyes and like once again, when I turn on that TV, in college, on Sundays, when I hear that national anthem, and just being able to hear it live in person, I was closing my eyes and just gave myself a moment right there, and then after that, it was just ball the rest of that. So it was mean a lot to me.
What can you say about the first goal line sequence where you guys didn't get the ball in, and then the next one where you were able to do it?
Yeah, obviously, the rest of the guys would probably, attest to it. We need to do better down there as a whole. And for me personally, I need to get back to our fundamentals, keeping my pads low, especially when those moments or situations where we gotta convert and get a touchdown. So me personally, I just need to get my pads low, going to the right guys, and just finish my blocks, especially down in that area.
Was it ever a doubt for you to play this game? I mean, you left the practice early on Friday. If you could say whatever you could say about what you were doing and getting prepared for games.
No, I knew I was gonna play today, and I was preparing like it was game day. So I did not take it lightly on my preparation going into this preseason game. No matter if I'm playing the whole game or playing half, I was still preparing that I was playing a full game today. So I did not take that lightly, going into this week. And at the end of the day, it was it was fun being out there with the rest of the guys, and I'm excited to get back to watching our film.
You were the last offensive lineman, starting offensive lineman in the game late in the first half. How much did you appreciate those extra reps?
Once again, we've always talked about it in our room, opportunities, when those present itself, you got to take full advantage of it. So just me staying in, getting those extra reps, I need it, because this is my first time taking, those snaps, and I need as much looks and, just fixing my techniques and, like I said, opportunities. I need as much as I can get when I'm on that field. So, again, can't take those lightly when I get the chance to go out there, but it was fun at the end of the day.
All right, next, Malik Washington.
Malik, what was that first drive like, especially coming through with a key fourth down, third down conversions, with two in the game?
Yeah, I think anytime we get a chance to actually be in an actual game atmosphere and go against a different opponent, getting those key reps in are going to be valuable, especially leading down the season. Obviously, practice, you get those reps in, but it's different when it's an actual Sunday and it's a game.
What do you think was working for you on those just short, outbreaking patterns to get open and have to find them?
Yeah, I think, just being key on route detail, knowing where I'm supposed to be, and the timing of the play, doing my job, and relying on everybody else to do theirs.
How would you view the first drive? You guys converted a fourth down, got close to the goal line, ultimately didn't get any points out of it. So how would you view it?
Yeah, obviously got a chance to drive down the field. Anytime we get a long drive, that's very good for the team as a whole. But now, obviously, we didn't get in, and so that's a learning experience. And now we get to go back and watch the film and grow from that. And so next time we hit the field, man, we hopefully punch it in.
Get involved in end around too, so that aspect of your game, and then also holding on to the football and a fumble when out of bounds.
What's the question there?
Oh, just keying in on that, holding on to the football, lessons learned that you can take from that.
Yeah, I think obviously you want to hold on to the football. Ball security is number one. But like you said, it's a learning experience, and so next time I get the opportunity, hold on to the football.
Special teams have been the subject of criticism around these parts the past couple of years. How much of a confidence booster can it be with several long returns? Jason nailing a 56-yarder, the two-pointers both 50 yards. What kind of confidence booster can it be, even though it's the first preseason game, still in light of what's happening there?
Yeah, I think we've worked our tail off this offseason on just, special teams as a whole. We've kind of nailed that as something that's the whole team runs through. Alk has done a good job coming in and just getting all of us motivated. AJ, Eric, D, all those guys are motivated to just make a big play. And I know the guys are going to block up front, so we're all going to come together and we're going to continue to make big plays.
What do you think about the receiving corps as a whole in a game where Tyreek and Jalen Waddle weren't playing?
Yeah, those guys are talented, and I think all of us, we want our opportunity. We want to opt to get the ball. We want to opt to make a play. So those guys will keep chipping away. I'll keep chipping away, and when 10 and 17 gets back, they'll keep chipping away as well.
All right, last person we're going to listen to, Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua, how important was it for you personally to be involved in this game?
Well, I would say first off, it's important for any of the starters to be able to get some play time before the actual season starts. I would say for me, it wasn't more important, as it was for the next guy to be out there, just so we can get those game-like reps, work on the timing, work on the noise, work on the focus, just work on every aspect of our game outside of just what that play entails. And I thought that was really good. Forced us to communicate a little more. And also in the huddle too, clock management. You got that, and it's another opportunity for an away game, clock management. You try to simulate as best as you can a real like atmosphere type of game, although the crowd, wasn't really getting into it on third downs and fourth downs, but you want to try to do your best when you do have that chance.
Do you think this is all the preseason work you need, or would you like to get some preseason reps with Tyreek and Jalen?
Well, I would say we've got a good amount of reps throughout this training camp. Even OTAs, we got a good amount of reps. I think the thing with that, they need to take care of what they have to with their bodies and how that works out. I'd rather have them for our season, instead of something happening to them preseason. But I think we got a lot of work in with those guys. But if I end up playing again, let it be. I'm fine with it.
Seems like your chemistry with Malik is continuing growing and growing and growing. What can you say about it, and what about him that he does you like?
Malik is the type of player that's going to be right where you need him to be. He's going to be someone that plays within the timing of the play, knowing how deep he needs to be versus zone coverage, and then versus man coverage, working his man, getting to the right stem within the right timing as well. So I would say that about Malik, and he takes coaching really, really well too. So if you tell him on a certain route, I don't like that you did this, I want this. Next time it comes up, you know what you're going to get with him.
Can you assess that drive that you had, converting a fourth down, and then also what happened once it got down to the goal line?
Yeah, we were driving. We really, down there in the red area, we wanted to establish our pad level. We wanted to see what we could do, and it's just another growing opportunity. That's an opportunity for us to look back on the film, see what we can get better at with that, and move forward.
What do you think of Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers watching them? Could you assess each one of their performance?
Yeah, I would say they're both still learning the offense, still trying to get a good gauge and good feel on how Mike calls plays. Also get a good feel and gauge with the guys that are in there with them on timing, their footwork with certain plays. So all of that, and this is their first one. I don't think anyone should think this was the best, this was the worst. This is their first opportunity, especially for Quinn. And this is a learning lesson for them, and they'll continue to get better. Got 2 more opportunities for those guys, so looking forward to what they do the next time.
We get to talk to you Friday after the practice. How do you think that went for you? Kind of get 3 receptions, but you don't know the results.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you think it went?
Well, results-based, bad. But then within the process, I think those are good days to have, especially as you're starting training camp really good, and you go through training camp with the team, and then you face another team. They coach a little different, they do things a little different, so it's just sticking with the fundamentals and technique that you do every day with your EDDs and all that. That's all it was.
Is there anything to the notion that it was important to come out here and have a good outing to put a weight behind that maybe the bad taste or whatever of Friday practice?
Nah, I wouldn't say any of the reasoning behind me playing today was because of Friday's practice. I wouldn't say any of that. This was solely based on Mike's decision, what he wanted from the starters, that we all were going to have one series. Whether you like that series or not, that was it. And so, yeah, that was a boss man's decision.
How much feedback were you asked to provide as to your thoughts on playing this particular game?
Not much feedback. Yeah.
You're playing and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and if I felt some type of way, I would let Mike know, but I don't understand why I would feel some type of way.
Anything else?
All right, guys, there you have it. In my opinion, it was a social game. It was good in some aspects, bad in some aspects. Not that terrible. 24-24 tie. I don't put much weight into preseason. I just want the guys to get their reps, stay healthy. Leave me your thoughts down below. And like always, stay positive, stay on your grind, and go Dolphins. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next time. Peace.